As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds it, one innovative solution at a time. Ready to be part of something bigger? Ready to shape the future instead of just reacting to it? It starts with our free webinar on Strategic Foresighting, hosted by Shui Agbida, the Leadership Growth Enabler and Learning and Development Specialist. Join us on Saturday, January 13, 2024, at 6 p.m. Attendance is free, but registration is compulsory. Start your 2024 on the right path. In a world that's changing faster than ever, each day brings new challenges, innovations, and global transformations. As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds it, one innovative solution at a time. Ready to be part of something bigger? Ready to shape the future instead of just reacting to it? It starts with our free webinar on Strategic Foresighting, hosted by Shui Agbida, the Leadership Growth Enabler and Learning and Development Specialist. Join us on Saturday, January 13, 2024, at 6 p.m. Attendance is free, but registration is compulsory. Start your 2024 on the right path. In a world that's changing faster than ever, each day brings new challenges, innovations, and global transformations. As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds it, one innovative solution at a time. Ready to be part of something bigger? Ready to shape the future instead of just reacting to it? It starts with our free webinar on Strategic Foresighting, hosted by Shui Agbida, the Leadership Growth Enabler and Learning and Development Specialist. Join us on Saturday, January 13, 2024, at 6 p.m. Attendance is free, but registration is compulsory. Start your 2024 on the right path. In a world that's changing faster than ever, each day brings new challenges, innovations, and global transformations. As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds it, one innovative solution at a time. Ready to be part of something bigger? Ready to shape the future instead of just reacting to it? It starts with our free webinar on Strategic Foresighting, hosted by Shui Agbida, the Leadership Growth Enabler and Learning and Development Specialist. Join us on Saturday, January 13, 2024, at 6 p.m. Attendance is free, but registration is compulsory. Start your 2024 on the right path. In a world that's changing faster than ever, each day brings new challenges, innovations, and global transformations. As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds it, one innovative solution at a time. Ready to be part of something bigger? Ready to shape the future instead of just reacting to it? It starts with our free webinar on Strategic Foresighting, hosted by Shui Agbida, the Leadership Growth Enabler and Learning and Development Specialist. Join us on Saturday, January 13, 2024, at 6 p.m. Attendance is free, but registration is compulsory. Start your 2024 on the right path.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depends on what part of the world it is that you are joining me from. In case you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Sheyi Agbede. I am the Leadership Growth Enabler and the Learning and Development Specialist. I help individuals and organizations to discover clarity and become the very, very best versions of themselves through coaching and training interventions. And this is one of the very many interventions that is we use to empower people as much as possible in our goal in ultimately making our world a much better place to live in. So this is a series of webinars that we will be having. We have a main webinar on the 13th of January. It's called Strategic Foresighting. All right. And these series of webinars are to prepare us for that webinar. Okay. And what we're doing is we're looking at leadership lessons from a book. Okay. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? So we're looking at leadership lessons from the book Who Moved My Cheese. We started off yesterday. We had day one yesterday, and it was really amazing. If you missed that, you can actually go over that. We are presently streaming on multiple platforms, right? So we're presently on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube, and then we are also on Facebook. So you can catch these on any of those platforms. Now, whatever platform it is that you're joining us from, we would like to know, just drop in the comments where it is that you're joining us from, your learning moments, your questions, whatever questions or whatever it is. I mean, like I said, I always believe in collective learning. I mean, nobody has all the knowledge in this world. We can all learn from each other. So drop them in the comments and we will be able to connect together. But strategic foresighting is very, very key at this time because we need, there's a difference between strategic leadership and operational leadership. And first of all, when I'm talking about leadership here, I'm not talking about those that have positional leadership. Leadership is influence. Once you have influence over anybody or anything, you are actually leading that thing. So if for nothing, you have leadership over yourself. You have influence over yourself. You decide what you get to do. So you have influence over yourself. So you can actually strategically lead yourself or operationally lead yourself in 2024. What we want to do is strategically foresight into 2024 and beyond so that we can have strategic plans to lead ourselves and our organizations and our companies into 2024 and beyond in grand style. That's what this whole thing is all about. And what we're just looking at is a book called Who Moved My Cheese? Now, it's a very short book. You can actually read it from start to finish in an hour or maybe less. It depends on how fast you read. And I recommend everybody to read that book. But just in case you haven't read it, I know some people will be joining and be seeing this for the very first time and will not have read the book at all. So what I'm going to do is I'll play a short video, right? I think it's about 3 minutes or thereabout, a short video that summarizes what the book is about. So you have a kind of understanding of what it is that we'll be talking about in the course of the conversation. So I will play that video for you and I will see you right after the video. So if you have anybody that you think should be a part of this, tag them, pull them in, share the links to them, let us all learn together. There's joy in learning together. Let's pull each other. There's enough room at the top. Don't listen to those people that say it's lonely at the top. That's a lie. It depends on what part of the top it is that you are. There's enough room for everybody at the top. So pull everybody in. Let us all learn together. Okay, so I'm going to play the video right now and then I will see you right after the video. Bye-bye for now.
Who Moved My Cheese is about dealing with change in your work and in your life. Cheese being a metaphor for what you want in life. Everyone has their own idea what cheese means to them, and we go after it because it makes us happy. The maze in the story represents where you look for your cheese, or happiness. Your cheese is always changing, and you should not get comfortable in relying on your cheese to always be how or where you left it. In doing so will help you deal with change and bring you greater success, no matter how you define success for yourself. The 4 characters in the story represent parts of us, and it's up to you to identify which parts you are now and which you would rather be from now on. There's two mice who don't overthink everything and just get on with life. Sniff constantly sniffs out the change and is ready for it. Scurry goes into action immediately without needing to know all the information. Then there's two little people, really smart people who've done well for themselves so far. Hem, he likes to stay in a safe, familiar territory, and Haw, who's slow to adapt to change but is open-minded. Sniff and Scurry go out and seek new cheese every day. Hem and Haw comfortably rely on their past knowledge and experience and assure themselves the cheese will be right where they left it. Hem and Haw even moved their house closer to their cheese and built a social life around it. They became so comfortable they didn't even notice what was happening. Sniff and Scurry noticed the cheese was diminishing and that one day it wasn't there. But they were not surprised. They were prepared and knew what to do. The situation had changed, so they decided to change. They sniffed and scurried in search of new cheese. Hem and Haw had not been paying attention to the changes. They took it for granted and were unprepared. How could this have happened, they thought? Nobody warned them. They wanted to believe somebody moved their cheese and didn't want to believe that they had failed to notice it getting smaller and smaller every day. Hem's complicated brain and deep belief system demanded to know why this had been done to him. While Hem and Haw were busy worrying about what happened to them, Sniff and Scurry were already out finding new cheese in uncharted territory, and it didn't take long before they found new cheese and started enjoying life again. Hem and Haw remained bitter and angry about not having their old cheese, complaining how life was unfair to them. They got used to being comfortable and were now afraid to go find new cheese. They got stuck in a habit of doing the same things over and over again and wondering why things didn't get better. Eventually, Haw realized the cheese was never coming back and may have to face his fears and go find new cheese. He finally stopped blaming others and took responsibility for himself. After all, it is safer to search in the maze than remain in a cheeseless situation. As Haw enjoyed his newfound cheese, he reflected on past mistakes and realized nothing got better until he changed. He didn't like it at the time, but the change was a blessing in disguise. Hem was too stubborn, or proud, or just simply unwilling to change. Nobody knows what became of Hem. Move with the cheese.
Okay, so that is the video. You're welcome back. I hope you actually got a gist of the video there. So like I said, it's a very short video. Now, so that's the video. We're talking about those four protagonists, right? And yesterday we looked at the lesson number 1, which was adaptability, okay, which is very key. Today we'll be looking at another lesson, which is proactive change anticipation. Proactive change, there's a difference between proactiveness and reactiveness. Now, there's something that is constant. Change is constant. That's not going to change. Change is not going to change, right? But how you prepare for it is the important thing. So like I said, yesterday we looked at, we laid a foundation by understanding that adaptability is key to success. That's what we looked at yesterday. So today we're going to build on that foundation, right, and explore the art of anticipating change proactively. That's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, if you remember in the story, right, Sniff and Scurry noticed changes in their cheese supply. While they were going to the cheese supply every day, remember your cheese here is whatever it is that you want, your job, your life, your freedom, whatever it is. Now, as they had been going to where they found the cheese every morning, they had realized that something was changing about this. So they had anticipated that, well, someday this cheese will be gone. But the other two guys they didn't even notice. They were just enjoying, having a party, having a swell time. Some of you are like that right now. You are on your job, you're having a wonderful time. Just like people were having a wonderful time before the pandemic struck. Some people did not realize that would have been the doom for their careers. So a lot of people are like that. Those two guys, they were just living life. They had cheese. Cheese was good. And they were enjoying it. In fact, they had moved their home, moved their social life, moved everything to where the cheese was. They had built a home around their cheese. And they failed to realize that something was happening. On the other hand, Scurry and Sniff realized that their cheese was being reduced every day. So they proactively to proactively prepare for a new one. That's why they never put their home there. They knew that this thing could change someday. Okay, so speaking about proactive change, what do we mean by proactivity? What is proactive change? Proactive change is the ability to foresee and prepare for change before they occur. The ability to see and prepare for changes before they occur. That's what we're talking about. You will not be able to prevent the change from occurring, but you can prepare for the change before they come. That's what it means to foresee and proactively prepare for it. So that's what we're talking about. Now, as leaders, it is not about adapting to change, but also foreseeing it. When you're adapting to change, that is reactive. But when you have anticipated the change, like a sailor on the boat, they see ahead, they know there's a rock on this course, and then they change. They don't wait to hit the rock before they change their course. That's what sank the Titanic. So as leaders, you need to proactively see, observe the changes in front, and prepare for it today. Today is the future that you prepared for yesterday. So that future that you're talking about, you need to prepare for it today. That's what we need to be doing as leaders. Anticipating change is not just about reacting, but actively seeking and creating the opportunities. It is important to seek for those opportunities. There are opportunities out there. And, I was thinking about something today, and maybe in my post tomorrow, I'm going to talk about that, right? Poverty comes from, it's like an acronym, right? Poverty is like passing over opportunities repeatedly. And there are three kinds of opportunities. Opportunities are like doors that are opened unto you. There are three kinds of opportunities, there are three kinds of doors. The first types of doors are the ones that you get to, and we need to open the regular doors that you need. What are those kind of opportunities? You need to do something. You need to apply energy. You need to apply a skill. You need to apply your network. You need to apply something for it to work or to open up to you. The second kind of opportunity are the revolving doors. That's the second type of door. The revolving doors. Now, in that case, all you need to do is position yourself in the right place at the right time. You are not the one that controls the revolving doors, the automatic revolving doors, I mean. You're not the one that controls them. They get to move themselves. What you need to do is step in at the right time. Those are the opportunities. But as a leader, you need to be able to identify when these opportunities come. And then the third type of opportunity, or the third type of door, are the automatic doors. All you do is you get there and the door opens up to you. Those type, well, to be honest, they don't come easily, but they do exist. So those types of doors, you just get there, the door opens up to you, and you step into it. You have no effort, you have nothing to do to that door. Excuse me. So those are the types of opportunities. But anyway, like I said, I'll talk more about that tomorrow. You can look at on my socials tomorrow. You should see something about that tomorrow. So you need to be able to anticipate and create these opportunities as a leader. As the saying goes, the best way to predict the future is to create it. You can all predict your own future. As an organization, you can predict your future. How? Just create it. So that is what being proactive is all about. Now, like I said yesterday, I would always take a quote from the book to kind of give us an understanding of what it is that I'm talking about. So this quote says, "The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find the new cheese." This is a quote from the book. I don't know what your cheese is. So your cheese could be that job that you go to every day that you hate to do. I mean, doing a job that you hate is one of the worst things you can do to your life. Why? You spend averagely 8 hours of your time every day at a job. By the time you spent maybe 30 years on that job, by the time you spend 30 years working, you'd have spent about 10 years of your life on that job. Imagine wasting 10 years of your life on something that you hate. So maybe it's time for you to pack up and leave that old cheese and look for new cheese. Or maybe you're in a business that you know this business is not being profitable anymore, but your ego will not let you go. So you stick to it even though it's not producing any results for you. Or maybe it's even your relationships. This year you need to audit everything, including your relationships. So maybe your relationships are not producing. That's old cheese. Let go of those relationships and look for new cheese. So that's the quotes I'm looking at today. The quicker you let go of the old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese. Now let's look at an example of a company that has been able to proactively anticipate change. And an example is Amazon, right? We all know about Amazon. Now, successful organizations not only adapt swiftly, but also anticipate change as they become evident. Now, Amazon started off as, a book company in quotes. I mean, started off with the Kindle, the books, renting out books and all of that. That's what they started with. But they understood that the digital age was coming in, and they anticipated for that and prepared for that. They switched to Kindles and all of that. And before they moved on to, being a giant retailing company and all of that. So anticipating change gave them the significant competitive advantage. Even till today, they still have that advantage and they're constantly ahead. I remember during the pandemic, especially in Ireland here, during the pandemic, they anticipated that there was going to be, because, Christmas period, everybody was going to be buying gifts and all of that. But because of the pandemic, nobody could go out. So they anticipated a rise in their the business. That was December 2021. There was an anticipation of a rise in their business. So they had stopped that, and then they immediately went into building a massive facility in Ireland to take care of that. And guess what? They cashed out, because December 2021, everybody was locked in the house. They couldn't go shopping. Everybody was buying stuff online, sending Santa's gifts online and all of that. They cashed out heavily. That is an opportunity. They saw it, they positioned themselves for it, and they took big, and they cashed out big on it. All right, let's run. This is not supposed to be a very big, a very long lesson or webinar rather. So I'm just going to try and wrap this up very quickly. Now, how do you incorporate proactive change into your activities and all of that? Number one, continuous learning. You need to develop a continuous learning habit. It's usually said the day you stop learning, you start dying. So cultivate a habit of staying informed about the industry trends. What is happening in your industry? What have changed? What are the changes that we're expecting in our industry? That is very, very key. And a number of these things we'll be talking about in the Strategic Foresighting webinar that we're having on the 13th of January. So if you haven't registered for that, please go and register for that, because we'll be looking at a number of these things, right? Cultivate a habit of staying informed with strengths in your industry. Encourage your team members or people around you to engage in regular learning and professional development. You need to be encouraged to do that as well. Like I said, this is also for self-leadership. So if you're leading yourself in this case, you need to constantly engage in regular learning and professional development. You have no idea how many things I have listened to, I have read just today. I do that every day. I upgrade myself before I can think of coming here to speak to you. Now, what else do you need to do? Scenario planning. This is something very key. We'll talk a lot more about this in the webinar on the 13th. Conduct scenario planning exercises to foresee potential changes. Like I said, I'll run you through what scenario planning is and all of that for those that will be a part of that. And then strategize and develop contingency plans for various scenarios. Scenario planning is just looking at, okay, what if this happened? How will we deal with it? What if this happens? How will we deal with it? That's thinking strategically and forming your plans from the beginning of the year, just in case it happens. And then the last thing you need to do is adopt technology. We're in the age where technology is taking over everything. It's through technology where, there are so many people joining this from all over the world right now. It's through technology. So embrace emerging technologies relevant to your industry. Remember, the first thing is you need to find out what is the what are the trends in your industry. If you have done that, you will know the technologies that are relevant to your industry that you need to find out. Embrace the technology and invest in technologies that have the potential to disrupt or enhance your business. So disrupt. So the technologies will work against you. So take for example, technology disrupted the e-hailing or the taxi companies, right? One day they woke up and then there was Uber from nowhere. Technology disrupted their business. They had all the taxi drivers had to convert to jump on the Uber's technology, otherwise they would have been out of business. So that's an example of how technology can disrupt your business. But you can be on the other side where you use the technology to enhance your business. So that's the lesson for today. Proactively anticipate change, right? This is the day 2 of it. We're going to keep doing this every day until the 13th. I think the last one will be on the 12th of January. So if you haven't registered for the webinar, you need to do that. Strategic Foresighting webinar. Now, it's going to be in a closed room. So it's not going to be running on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all of that. It's going to be an interactive session. We're going to be doing a lot of group activities and stuff like that. So we can't have it here. It's going to be in the closed room. So you need to register for that to be a part of it. Now, it is free. Registration is free. It's not cheap, but we're giving it out for free. I mean, this is, let's say Santa came late this year. This is the first thing we're doing this year. So we're giving it out absolutely free. So you can be a part of that. All you need to do is register. Excuse me. So all you need to do is register to be a part of that. Right. Now, the links are some all around. I know after the webinar yesterday, a lot of people sent me messages, sent me DMs and all of that, and I was able to share the link with them. Same thing today. If you want to register for that webinar, just reach out to me, send me a DM, send me a message or whatever, and we will be able to, send out the link to you. Now, we have limited space. Because it's a closed room, there's a number of people we can take in the room. Once we are full, we are full. So if you can scan that QR, you can scan that to be a part of that, or just send me a DM. So this is day 2 of our series. We will continue this every day until the 13th, so to prepare us for the Strategic Foresighting webinar. I hope you have enjoyed this, and join me again same time tomorrow. I will be online from 7 p.m. my time. That should be about 8 p.m. West African time. That should be about 10 p.m. in the UAE. That should be about 1 p.m. in the United States. Whatever part of the world it is, you can join this, or you can catch on the recording. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been it today. Remember, there's greatness on your inside, and the world is waiting for you to birth and manifest that greatness. Go out there and be profitable, and I will see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
In a world that's changing faster than ever, each day brings new challenges, innovations, and global transformations. As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds it, one innovative solution at a time. Ready to be part of something bigger? Ready to shape the future instead of just reacting to it? It starts with our free webinar on Strategic Foresighting, hosted by Shui Agbida, the Leadership Growth Enabler and Learning and Development Specialist. Join us on Saturday, January 13, 2024, at 6 p.m. Attendance is free, but registration is compulsory. Start your 2024 on the right path. In a world that's changing faster than ever, each day brings new challenges, innovations, and global transformations. As we grapple with the exponential pace of change, the gap widens between what's happening, what's to come, and what we can do about it. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge that gap? A way for you to not just keep up but to thrive in this complex and dynamic landscape. Imagine a total mind shift, a breakthrough that not only connects the dots between future events but also taps into our collective humanity. It's a system view that doesn't just predict the future, it builds